My child, my beloved. This is not just another spiritual message. It is a sacred broadcast. It is a divine file that was unsealed for your eyes only. And if you knew how rare this moment is, you would not blink. You would not scroll. You would not dare walk away. God says, the angels are waiting for your yes. That yes isn't just a whisper, it's a heart decision. A shift in posture. A surrender of control. You've been trying to figure it all out, but that's not trust, that's fear in disguise. Tonight, heaven is not asking for your understanding. It's asking for your obedience. Say yes now. Yes to letting go. Yes to stepping out. Yes to the whisper you've ignored. Say yes before the protection that was designed for you is reassigned to someone else who moved faster. My child, my beloved. The path ahead has already been cleared. The angels have gone before you. I have walked it. I have seen the map. But there is a fork coming. One side looks easier, safer, more familiar. But it leads to spiritual stagnancy, hidden warfare, and 7 more years of confusion. The other path looks uncertain, even frightening. But it is where the provision is. Where the partner is. Where the money is. Where your purpose is pulsing like light behind a curtain. You must choose the harder way now. Not because God wants you to suffer, but because the path to miracles is rarely paved in comfort. Archangel Michael is not here to make you feel good. I am here to make sure you wake up. Because if you miss this turn, you'll end up living a life that feels like yours, but isn't. A spiritual detour that looks like success, but robs your destiny in silence. My child, my beloved. Even now, as you're reading this, something in the spirit realm is waiting for your agreement. Yes, this message looks like words on a screen, but what you don't see is the fire behind every sentence. Each paragraph is infused with light. Every line is vibrating with urgency. Because this is not just a message. It is a divine intervention. It's a scroll that should have been delivered weeks ago, but heaven waited for the perfect second when your heart would be soft enough to receive it. That second is now. And if you keep reading, you will feel it, your spirit realigning, your strength returning, your peace rising from the ashes of what the enemy tried to bury. This is not a coincidence. It is your deliverance unfolding in real time. My child, my beloved. There is something you need to hear that no one has had the courage to tell you. You've been walking with people who don't carry your anointing, and it's suffocating you. Not all of them are bad people. But they were not meant to walk with you this far. And because you kept dragging them into your future, your miracle has been suffocating, buried beneath the weight of disobedience disguised as loyalty. God says, release them, and I will release what you've been praying for. Some relationships are not wicked, they're expired. And when you cling to what's expired, it begins to rot your momentum. Tonight, heaven is giving you grace to disconnect cleanly, quietly, without pain. But if you ignore this, you may be forced to separate later, violently, painfully, publicly. What you release in secret will protect you from embarrassment in public. My child, my beloved. There's a hidden scroll in heaven, a spiritual document marked with your name and written in golden ink. It contains dates, encounters, financial provision, and supernatural instructions meant to guide your next 6 months. But that scroll was sealed after you missed the last signal. Not out of punishment, but out of protection. God would not allow you to see what you weren't prepared to obey. But this message, this exact moment, is the test. If you fully open your heart now, if you obey even what you don't understand, the scroll will be unsealed again. And with it will come answers to the questions that have haunted you in silence. You'll finally understand why that door closed. Why that person disappeared. Why your plan collapsed. It wasn't rejection. It was rerouting. But you won't understand until the scroll is opened again, and your obedience is the key. My child, my beloved. There's a window opening tonight. Just one. Just for you. And once it closes, it will not open again for a long time. Not because God is cruel, but because divine patterns are precise. You were not created to chase opportunities. You were created to recognize them. And this message is not just a warning, it's a divine opportunity disguised in urgent language. Heaven is watching who listens when God whispers in the middle of a storm. Will you wait for lightning and thunder to confirm it's real? Or will you be the one who moves when all you have is a whisper and a shaking in your soul? If you do, what was planned against you tonight will reverse. And not only will it miss you, it will backfire onto the very spirit that sent it. The enemy is nervous right now, because you are dangerously close to waking up in power again. My child, my beloved. This is your moment of reckoning, not for shame, but for realignment. The reason you've been feeling so off, so disconnected, so heavy even in your joy, is because your soul knows something your mind hasn't caught up to. Your timeline has been slipping out of sync. The events you were meant to encounter have been waiting for you to catch up. And if you delay now, the events will proceed without you. That's the heaviness you've been feeling, not depression, but spiritual dislocation. But here's the miracle: God didn't let the door close. He delayed the movement just for you. But that delay ends tonight. Either you align now, or the flow continues forward, and you'll be forced to wait until the next cycle. But you were not built to miss this. You were built to walk through it. You were born for this alignment. My child, my beloved. My child, my beloved. This moment is not an accident. Heaven knew you would see this exact line at the very second your spirit would finally be ready. You have been surrounded by noise, confusion, fake smiles, and deceptive peace for too long. But inside your spirit, there's been a quiet ache, hasn't there? An ache that no one sees. You felt the pressure building but couldn't name it. You've watched as plans fell apart, money slipped through your fingers, people changed without warning, and opportunities vanished right when you needed them most. That's not coincidence, it's a sign. A sign that your divine covering was flickering, trying to stay in place, trying to hold on, even as your soul drifted silently into forgetfulness. But no more. Archangel Michael has been sent to stand between you and what's coming. But I can only stand for you if you obey this message now. You must not delay. You must not stop here. My child, my beloved. What's scheduled for tonight is not ordinary. It's not earthly. It's a spiritual confrontation between what was promised over your life and what has been attacking it. If you do nothing now, the enemy gets legal access to your open doors. You have unknowingly kept certain doors unlocked. Every time you refuse to fully cut off that toxic person. Every time you return to what you prayed to escape. Every time you delayed obedience, thinking it was harmless. Those delays have cost you. But this message is your rescue. This is not just a message, it is a spiritual tool, a divine courtroom file, handed to you by heaven's legal army to overturn what was just decreed against your life. But if you treat this casually, you'll walk into tonight with no shield. And this time, you won't just feel tired, you'll feel spiritually exposed in a way that leaves scars. My child, my beloved. Listen to what I'm saying with every part of your soul. Not all attacks come with fire and thunder. Some come with silence. With delay. With coldness from someone who used to care. With sudden blockages in your work, your relationships, your own thoughts. The spirit of confusion has hovered near your name. It was not allowed to touch you before because the covering was strong. But with silent disobedience, delayed trust, hidden compromise, and spiritual apathy, the enemy presented a case in the courts of heaven. A case to lift your protection. And heaven allowed it. Only for a moment. Only as a final signal to wake you up. If you ignore this wake-up call, the next season will be much harder than it was meant to be. But if you act now, fully, humbly, obediently, you can still reverse it before the hour strikes. My child, my beloved. You may not understand all the ways you've drifted. But heaven does. The prayers you used to pray with fire have become whispers. The worship that used to shake your room has grown silent. You still love God, but you've grown numb. You've grown tired. You've been hurt. You've been disappointed by people. But none of that is an excuse for disconnecting from the voice of the Father who has never left your side. The enemy used your pain as a trap. He convinced you to sleep. And now, while you've been sleeping spiritually, a plot has formed. But it's not too late to cancel it. This message, this exact moment, is your spiritual alarm. But if you hit the snooze button again, you may wake up too late to stop what's already in motion. My child, my beloved. There is someone around you who is pretending. Pretending to be harmless. Pretending to be a friend. Pretending to support you. But behind your back, their name is involved in something dark. Their name has been heard in the spirit realm as one who has partnered, knowingly or unknowingly, with your delay. God does not want to expose them to embarrass you. God wants to expose them to protect you. You were not meant to be tied to this person any longer. They were only supposed to walk a short distance with you, not your whole journey. But your kindness kept them around. Your loneliness kept you quiet. And now, their presence is costing you more than you can see. Tonight, they are making a decision that will directly affect your next blessing. Heaven is watching. The angels are watching. But only you can act. My child, my beloved. Every time you think, maybe I'll wait until morning, know this: the storm doesn't wait for sunrise. You felt delays, but this next one is different. If this delay enters your life, it could push your divine alignment back by 7 years. That's how critical this window is. Archangel Michael has stood in battle for you many times. But this battle, I can only win if you respond. My sword is drawn, the armies of heaven are positioned, but your voice, your spirit, your attention is the key to unlock the intervention. You must not skip this. Even 1 second of hesitation gives darkness a foothold. If you knew the size of what was scheduled to bless you tomorrow morning, you would drop everything to protect it tonight. Don't let a moment of laziness cancel a destiny built through tears, warfare, and heaven's mercy. My child, my beloved. Tonight is marked in heaven. There is a shaking coming that will affect everyone: family, finances, plans, and even your thoughts. But there is a difference between those who are protected and those who are exposed. You must choose which side you'll stand on. Not with your lips, but with your obedience. You don't need to understand everything. You just need to trust what your spirit feels right now. That strange pressure in your chest. That sudden warmth running through your body as you read this. That's not emotion. That's the Holy Spirit affirming what is true. That is the Spirit saying, yes, this is for you. Yes, it's urgent. Yes, I need your response now. If you walk away, the silence that follows will not be comfort. It will be absence. But if you stay, if you trust this divine instruction, even the decree written against you tonight can be torn to shreds before midnight. My child, my beloved. My child, my beloved. You were not created for this version of life you've been settling for. There's a higher realm of clarity, purpose, wealth, spiritual power, and divine alignment that you've only tasted. But heaven says, now, it's time to live there. Not visit. Not imagine. Live. But it requires sacrifice. Not in the form of pain, but in the form of trust. Can you trust God enough to walk into the unfamiliar? Can you trust the voice of the Spirit over the voice of fear? Can you walk away from what once fed you, now knowing it's keeping you stuck? If you can, if you will, then what happens next will feel like divine acceleration. Doors will not open, they will swing. People will not just meet you, they will be sent. Money will not just flow, it will flood. But only if you obey. That's the covenant tonight. Obedience for acceleration. Stillness for stagnation. Choose carefully. The outcome is not random, it's activated. My child, my beloved. The spirit of delay that's been attached to your timeline isn't natural. It's not just bad luck or bad timing. It is engineered. It is targeted. And it's been feeding off your inconsistency. Every time you got close to breakthrough, hesitation crept in. Every time God nudged you, you second-guessed. And the enemy used those delays like bricks, building walls around your blessings. But here's the part that will shift your soul: you still have the authority to tear it all down in one night. Yes. One night. One moment of radical alignment can dissolve 10 years of delay. That's why this message feels so intense. That's why your heart is beating differently as you read. Because your spirit knows what's at stake. And deep down, you've known this moment would come. You just didn't know it would look like this. But now that you see it, you can't ignore it. Not without consequences. Not without collapse. My child, my beloved. God is about to send someone into your life that will change everything. A divine helper. A prophetic connector. Someone who holds a key to your next realm. But they can only enter a clean atmosphere. They will not walk into confusion. They will not arrive while spiritual warfare still sits at your door unchallenged. You must cleanse the space now. In your mind. In your friendships. In your habits. If you purify your atmosphere, the divine connection will appear within 3 days. But if you delay, that person will be reassigned, and what you were meant to build together will be given to another. Don't let fear talk you out of this. Don't let comfort keep you hostage. Don't miss what God is trying to hand you, just because you refuse to let go of what He already told you to drop. My child, my beloved. Heaven has reached the final countdown. Not in years. Not in months. In hours. What was once far away is now within reach. What was once delayed is now active. But it's waiting for you to step into alignment. The decree that was issued against you, yes, it was written. But it was not final. God signed the margin with these words, "If they open their eyes, I will open the gate." That's what this message is. It's the gate. It's the scroll. It's the moment. And I was assigned to walk with you through it. But I will only walk with those who trust. Who obey. Who say, I don't fully understand, but I refuse to miss God again. If that's you, then child, keep reading. Because the final section will not just inform you. It will transform you. My child, my beloved. I am still here. I have not moved. My wings are stretched around your name in the Spirit, but I cannot hold this shield up alone. Every second you choose to stay in this message is a spiritual agreement, a step deeper into the protection you didn't even know had been granted back to you. Yes, you made mistakes. Yes, you delayed. But God is not interested in punishing your delay, He is interested in what you choose to do with this final invitation. If you keep walking, I will keep clearing the way. If you keep listening, I will keep fighting. But the moment you stop, everything pauses. The spiritual covering retracts. The divine transaction is interrupted. This is not about fear, it's about power. Because what's coming for you is too valuable to risk. Heaven doesn't want you scared. Heaven wants you prepared. My child, my beloved. There is something you've been sensing for weeks. You couldn't name it. It felt like something was off. Something wasn't sitting right in your spirit. That discomfort? That odd restlessness in your sleep? That's not anxiety. That's your spirit trying to interpret divine urgency. And now you know why. A decision was made about you in the heavenly realms, one that removed the spiritual bubble that used to protect your path. Not out of anger. Not out of abandonment. But to show you what would happen if you kept ignoring the voice that's been calling your name since you were a child. The voice that once whispered in the night, now has to shout. And this message is that shout. Don't harden your heart now. You've come too far. Don't explain it away. The Spirit has already confirmed it. You know this is for you. My child, my beloved. There are angels assigned to you that have not been able to complete their mission, not because they are weak, but because you kept allowing access to people who don't belong in your next season. Every time you welcome them back in, the angels step back. Because divine order cannot coexist with tolerated disorder. And you have tolerated too much. You have swallowed silence. You have excused too many red flags. You have called it grace, but what it really was spiritual hesitation. God sees your heart. He knows you never meant to wander this far. But the consequence of tolerance is blockage. And the only way to fix it now is to close every gate that was left unlocked, especially the ones that feel familiar. Because the enemy always enters through what is familiar. You must shut it. And you must shut it now. My child, my beloved. My child, my beloved. Tonight is marked in heaven. There is a shaking coming that will affect everyone, family, finances, plans, and even your thoughts. But there is a difference between those who are protected and those who are exposed. You must choose which side you'll stand on. Not with your lips, but with your obedience. You don't need to understand everything. You just need to trust what your spirit feels right now. That strange pressure in your chest. That sudden warmth running through your body as you read this. That's not emotion. That's the Holy Spirit affirming what is true. That is the Spirit saying, yes, this is for you. Yes, it's urgent. Yes, I need your response now. If you walk away, the silence that follows will not be comfort. It will be absence. But if you stay, if you trust this divine instruction, even the decree written against you tonight can be torn to shreds before midnight. My child, my beloved. Heaven is watching how you respond. Not just your eyes, but your spirit. You may be reading this while sitting in silence, but the spiritual world is roaring right now around your name. You are not just a person, you are a chosen vessel, and that comes with weight. Responsibility. Legacy. And the enemy has known who you are longer than you've known yourself. That's why you've been under such strange pressure this week. That's why your sleep has been disturbed, your mind pulled in too many directions, and people around you suddenly acting different. The shift isn't just in them, it's in the air. Tonight, the spiritual climate around you is shifting. And the only question that matters now is, will you realign in time, or will you miss the divine re-entry window that God carved just for you? My child, my beloved. There is a decree with your name that was almost sealed permanently. Almost. But the mercy of God interrupted the process. And do you know how it was interrupted? You. Yes, you were the interruption. Your spirit was crying out even when your mouth stayed silent. Your soul was weeping while your face kept smiling. You couldn't explain it to anyone, but something inside you refused to give up. That resistance became your signal in the heavenlies. And because of that silent cry, God called my name. I was sent to deliver this message at the exact hour your soul would be sensitive enough to receive it. But child, if you stop now, the interruption will expire. And the decree will continue its course. What you do in the next minutes will echo into the next 7 months of your life. My child, my beloved. You may feel powerless. You may be thinking, but I haven't done anything wrong. That's the danger. Silent disobedience doesn't always look like rebellion. It looks like delay. Like fear disguised as waiting for confirmation. Like ignoring the nudge to pray. Like staying too long in a relationship that God whispered for you to exit long ago. Like silencing your gift because someone else made you feel small. These things feel safe, but they open the door to spiritual legal access. And the enemy doesn't need loud sin. He only needs silence. But here's the miracle, God is not holding a grudge. He's holding the gate open one last time. If you walk through now, the door closes behind you, and the danger loses access. But if you hesitate again, your absence becomes permission for darkness to proceed. Heaven is not threatening you. Heaven is warning you. Out of love. My child, my beloved. Someone has placed their energy on your life in a way that is not pure. They call you friend, but their words carry envy. They say they're praying for you, but their spirit holds bitterness. They are watching your next steps, waiting to see if you rise, because they fear you might surpass them. God has seen this. You've seen glimpses, haven't you? Odd behavior. Strange tension. Something you couldn't put your finger on. That wasn't paranoia. It was discernment. And God is saying, do not ignore it this time. The person connected to this warning will show you one final sign in the next 48 hours. Watch for it. Don't deny it. Don't excuse it. When it happens, you will remember this message. You must move quickly. Because this person's next move is not just emotional, it's strategic. It's been spiritually planned to interrupt your momentum. My child, my beloved. A miracle was meant to land at your feet this week. A real, tangible, physical shift, money, clarity, new connection, or something you've been quietly praying for. But that miracle has been held. Not cancelled. Not lost. Just delayed by a spiritual blockage. And here is the most painful part, the blockage didn't come from a stranger. It came from within your own atmosphere. Someone close to you. Someone who carries access to your energy. Someone who doesn't even know how powerful their silent jealousy has become. It's been enough to create friction in the flow of heaven toward you. And the decree that was signed against you wasn't just about punishment, it was about permission to allow that blockage to proceed. But you still have time to cancel it. This message is your override code. Your spiritual override. But it only activates if you stay present to the end. If you take this seriously. If you listen beyond emotion. You must open your eyes fully now. My child, my beloved. This is not just another spiritual message. It is a sacred broadcast. It is a divine file that was unsealed for your eyes only. And if you knew how rare this moment is, you would not blink. You would not scroll. You would not dare walk away. God says, the angels are waiting for your yes. That yes isn't just a whisper, it's a heart decision. A shift in posture. A surrender of control. You've been trying to figure it all out, but that's not trust, that's fear in disguise. Tonight, heaven is not asking for your understanding. It's asking for your obedience. Say yes now. Yes to letting go. Yes to stepping out. Yes to the whisper you've ignored. Say yes before the protection that was designed for you is reassigned to someone else who moved faster. My child, my beloved. My child, my beloved. This is your moment of reckoning, not for shame, but for realignment. The reason you've been feeling so off, so disconnected, so heavy even in your joy, is because your soul knows something your mind hasn't caught up to. Your timeline has been slipping out of sync. The events you were meant to encounter have been waiting for you to catch up. And if you delay now, the events will proceed without you. That's the heaviness you've been feeling, not depression, but spiritual dislocation. But here's the miracle. God didn't let the door close. He delayed the movement just for you. But that delay ends tonight. Either you align now, or the flow continues forward, and you'll be forced to wait until the next cycle. But you were not built to miss this. You were built to walk through it. You were born for this alignment. My child, my beloved. I, Archangel Michael, am not just speaking, I'm standing. Right now. In the spirit realm, my wings are spread wide over you. A storm is approaching your timeline, and I was assigned to intercept it. But I cannot move without your agreement. Heaven has laws. And one of those laws is permission. Your faith is that permission. Your surrender is that key. If you say yes in your spirit now, if you choose to trust even when your eyes can't see, I will fight for you. I will cover your home. I will cancel the decree against your name. I will drag out the spirit that has been tormenting your dreams. But if you remain still, if you choose doubt, then my hands remain tied. I was created to protect the chosen, not the passive. Do not hesitate. Do not stay lukewarm. This is not the hour for indecision. My child, my beloved. The hour is late. The spiritual war is not waiting for your comfort. There are blessings that have been rerouted because of your hesitations. Divine connections that were sent to you but turned away because your atmosphere was not ready. God is not punishing you, He is teaching you. Teaching you that delay is disobedience in disguise. That comfort is sometimes the enemy of calling. That love without boundaries becomes bondage. You have one final choice tonight. Trust the voice of God. Open your hands. Let go of the illusion of control. And walk forward like the warrior you were born to be. If you do, the protection that was lifted will slam back into place like a divine shield. And the darkness planned for tonight will scatter before it even reaches your street. My child, my beloved. There are moments in life when heaven stops everything to focus on one soul. This is one of those moments. The noise of the world may still be ringing around you, but in the spirit, it's silent, because your name is echoing in the throne room of God. The angels have stopped their songs. The books have paused mid-turn. The conversation in heaven has turned to your obedience, your future, your alignment. God is leaning forward, waiting to see what you do next. Not out of control, but out of compassion. He knows you've been weary. He knows you've felt alone even in a crowd. He knows your heart has carried burdens too heavy for your smile to show. But He also knows this: if you say yes now, if you obey the instruction wrapped in this message, there will be a divine reversal so powerful that even your enemies will stop and say, "How did they escape that?" They will not understand it, because the protection that is about to return to you will not be visible, but it will be undeniable. My child, my beloved. You have been walking around with unanswered questions, haven't you? Wondering why certain doors open just to close again. Why relationships that felt like destiny ended without warning. Why people you trusted turned distant. It wasn't just emotional, it was spiritual. God removed what you wouldn't, so that what was coming would not be corrupted before it arrived. But the removal wasn't punishment, it was preparation. And now, finally, what was meant to arrive is circling again. This is your realignment moment. If your posture is right, if your heart is surrendered, the blessing will land this time. But God will not let you waste it again by sharing it with the wrong circle. That's why He sent me. To warn you. To shield you. To shake you awake before the window closes again. Because this window, child, is rare. Once it's gone, it won't return until after the next spiritual season, and that season brings heavier storms. My child, my beloved. I must reveal something that you may not want to hear, but your spirit already knows it's true. Someone has been praying against you. Not with curses on their lips, but with envy in their heart. They smile when you lose. They celebrate quietly when you suffer. They claim to support you, but their spirit carries jealousy like a perfume they pretend not to wear. God has seen it. Heaven has heard every unspoken word they've sent into the atmosphere about you. And tonight, that spiritual opposition has grown bold. It has gathered energy. It is aiming to strike your peace, your money, your next move. But God didn't leave you uncovered. This message is your weapon. It is your firewall. But only if you take it seriously. Only if you obey the instruction to separate your energy now, fully. Completely. Not with hate, but with holy boundaries. Because the enemy can't stop your blessing, but he can send people who delay it. My child, my beloved. You were not created for this version of life you've been settling for. There's a higher realm of clarity, purpose, wealth, spiritual power, and divine alignment that you've only tasted. But heaven says, now, it's time to live there. Not visit. Not imagine. Live. But it requires sacrifice. Not in the form of pain, but in the form of trust. Can you trust God enough to walk into the unfamiliar? Can you trust the voice of the Spirit over the voice of fear? Can you walk away from what once fed you, now knowing it's keeping you stuck? If you can, if you will, then what happens next will feel like divine acceleration. Doors will not open, they will swing. People will not just meet you, they will be sent. Money will not just flow, it will flood. But only if you obey. That's the covenant tonight. Obedience for acceleration. Stillness for stagnation. Choose carefully. The outcome is not random, it's activated. My child, my beloved. I was sent by God to warn you a curse was placed on your life by a family member you love. You have only 3 days to break it, or it will continue for years. Open this now. My child, my beloved, I was sent by God Himself to speak to you because time is running out and the truth can no longer wait in silence. For years, something has been holding you back. And even though you've done everything with love, with kindness, with purity in your heart, the road in front of you still keeps closing. The reason why is because of something dark that was placed on your name by someone who should have protected you. Someone from your own bloodline. A curse, yes, a spiritual lock, was spoken over your life. And unless it is broken in the next 3 days, you will unknowingly carry its weight for many more years. I am trembling with urgency as I say this. God revealed your name in the courts of heaven, and a secret scroll was opened in your favor. But you must hear me fully. The curse is real. And the time to reverse it is now. My beloved, my dear, before I reveal more, I ask you with all of heaven's light, if you have not yet subscribed, do it now. Because the divine messages that will continue to reach you are not by accident. When you subscribe, you seal a covenant with the light. The curse that was spoken over your name wants silence, but your voice, your attention to this, is the first act of breaking it. So I say this with power, subscribe now so you are marked safely under the divine watch of angels. We are guarding this moment for you. My child, I don't want to frighten you, but I must speak the truth without delay. This curse was not cast out of hatred, but it came from jealousy. A jealousy that grew quietly inside someone you always trusted. This person once praised your name, but their heart turned bitter when they saw what God placed inside you. They were family, and yes, still are, but their soul was wounded, and from their woundedness, they tried to stop your favor from blossoming. That's why opportunities slipped, relationships fell apart without explanation, and why some mornings you wake with an invisible weight on your chest. It's not your imagination. It's not just bad luck. This is spiritual interference. And unless this energy is reversed, it will keep bleeding into the next season of your life. My beloved, if you have ever wondered why people come close to you and then suddenly vanish, this is why. If you've ever felt like money touches your hand but never stays, this is why. If dreams collapse just when they are about to become real, this is why. There's a veil over your progress. A spiritual knot tied behind your back when you were too innocent to notice. But heaven noticed. And now, God is undoing what was secretly done to you. That's why this message reached you. That's why the timing is not random. This is your holy alert, your divine window to act. My child, let me show you what happens if you do not act. I say this not to scare you, but to awaken you. If you ignore this message, the curse will double back. The delay in your purpose will grow. And worse, it will affect not only you, but those who are destined to walk with you, your family, your children, your partner. Because generational curses don't stop on their own. They grow like vines unless someone with divine authority cuts them. That's why God sent me. That's why I am speaking with so much urgency. I've seen what was written in the Spirit, and this is your 3-day window to reverse what was never meant for you. My beloved, there is something strange I must tell you. This curse was placed not with rituals, but with words. Yes, just words, but words spoken with venom. Someone spoke your name in anger. They whispered your failure before you ever even tried. They didn't just doubt you, they declared you would never make it. And those declarations still hover over you like dark smoke. But hear me, what was spoken in darkness can be broken in light. What was sent by envy can be shattered by love. And heaven has chosen this exact hour to bring that light upon you. If you are still reading this, it's because your soul is ready to be cleansed of what was never yours to carry. My child, God has already prepared the miracle to replace the curse. But the miracle cannot land in a place still hosting the darkness. Your heart, your home, your name, it needs to be spiritually cleared. I am telling you this with holy truth. The moment you recognize this as real, you begin the reversal. The enemy of your destiny hoped you'd ignore this. They hoped you'd laugh it off or say, maybe later. But heaven doesn't work in maybe. Miracles are born in moments of divine response. This is that moment. My beloved, have you noticed the strange fatigue that clings to you even after you rest? That sudden feeling of hopelessness when everything seemed fine? That's not coincidence, it's interference. The curse acts like spiritual static, blocking the signals, twisting your clarity, turning friends into strangers and joy into confusion. And yet, in the midst of this, you have not given up. You've cried in silence and still prayed. You've hurt and still smiled. That is why the angels surround you now. Because your endurance was noted in heaven. And now, it's time to receive the reward of that faithfulness. My child, a prophetic dream was shown last night to a servant of God on your behalf. In that dream, a door was sealed shut and your name was written on the outside of it. But a hand from above placed a key into the lock, and it clicked open. That key is this message. And the door will not stay open forever. If you wait too long, the curse will rebuild its strength. But if you act now, and I mean now, you will reverse what was sent, restore what was lost, and revive what was almost buried. Your light is stronger than this curse, but only if you walk through the door that has been placed in front of you right now. My child, in the next part of this message, I must show you exactly what to watch for in the coming days. The signs of breakthrough will be subtle, but undeniable. You may hear from someone you haven't spoken to in a long time. You may have a dream of water, of fire, or of a staircase. You may see repeating numbers, or hear your name whispered in stillness. These are not tricks. These are confirmations. Heaven will be speaking to you constantly as you draw closer to deliverance. But the curse will try one last time to distract you, to discourage you, to push you back into disbelief. Do not let it. Do not allow fear to have the final word. I am here to walk you through the full deliverance. And I will not leave you until the chains are shattered and the curse becomes dust beneath your feet. My child, my beloved, you must be prepared for what will unfold now that this truth has been opened. You may feel sudden emotions rise without warning, waves of sadness, then moments of anger, then peace that feels unfamiliar. These are not just emotions. They are the residue of the curse beginning to break off. The darkness that had settled quietly in corners of your soul is being pulled out by the light. You may feel strange dreams. You may wake up at unusual hours. You may sense a change in the atmosphere of your home. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. The spiritual world is shifting around you because you are no longer asleep. And once a chosen one awakens, the curse loses its silence. Now it is trembling, because you see it, and seeing is the beginning of breaking. My beloved, do not be surprised if some people begin to act strangely toward you. The curse worked through people before, and now that it is dying, it will try to scream through the mouths of those it used. Someone may try to argue with you over nothing. Someone may accuse you, misunderstand you, or turn their face away without reason. But do not react. Do not fight back in flesh. This is a spiritual war, and your silence will be louder than any words. This is your test. Heaven is watching how you respond in the next 72 hours. If you walk in love, in discipline, and in trust, not only will the curse break, but it will reverse. That means the energy that was used to harm you will be converted into divine compensation. And what you lost in the dark will be returned in the light, multiplied. My child, there is something sacred being built in your name even as I speak. I see a record being updated in heaven. A list of every tear you cried silently. Every act of kindness you gave without reward. Every moment you kept going when others would have fallen. These have not been forgotten. They have been waiting. And now, the curse that kept the reward delayed is being erased. But you must walk through this window in faith. God is not looking for your perfection, only your attention. If you take even a small step in divine obedience, it will activate the floodgates. A single whisper of yes from your soul will cancel years of delay. That's how powerful this moment is. My beloved, I must show you one more thing, and you may already know what I'm about to say. The person who cursed you is still near. Maybe not in presence, but in memory. Their energy still echoes in your mind. You dream about them. You think of them in moments that don't make sense. That is because the curse still holds a spiritual thread. But I am here now to cut that thread. With the sword of divine fire, I am severing every soul tie that was attached through harm. What they said about you will no longer hold weight in your spirit. What they declared over your future is being burned by heavenly authority. You will be free, not just physically, but spiritually and emotionally. No more invisible chains. No more subconscious shame. Only freedom. Only clarity. Only restoration. My child, the next 3 days are not normal. They are sacred. Heaven has circled these days in gold. This is not about luck. It's about timing. Your name is being whispered in the mouths of angels. Prayers you forgot you prayed are being replayed in the throne room. And the answer is now. The release is now. But you must honor the instruction. Do not delay. Do not go back to sleep spiritually. The curse counted on your silence. It depended on your confusion. But you are no longer confused. You are no longer silent. You are chosen. And I am standing beside you to ensure that what was meant to harm you will now bless you. My child, my beloved, listen closely. There is something God told me to share with you that will change how you look at your entire past. The reason you survived so many things, even when others around you did not, is because your life carries a purpose too great to be erased. That's why the curse had to work overtime just to delay you. It couldn't destroy you, because heaven placed a spiritual shield around your soul before you were even born. But while the curse couldn't take your life, it tried to take your direction. It confused your steps. It placed the wrong people in your path. It whispered lies to make you believe you were unworthy. It twisted your own reflection so that even you could not recognize how glorious, how chosen, how holy your light truly is. But today that reflection is being restored. Today the veil begins to lift. Today you begin to see what I see when I look at you, a soul built for miracles, not misery. A spirit designed for royalty, not ruin. My beloved, you must understand this, the curse that was placed on you was not random. It was calculated. It was cast the moment you began stepping toward your true calling. The moment heaven moved closer to you, the darkness tried to pull you back. This is the war most people never see, but you have lived it. You felt it in the delays, in the betrayal, in the lonely nights when your soul cried out for answers. And even then, God was still near. Even in your silence, your soul's light was sending signals to the angels. And when the time came, heaven declared that your name would be called for deliverance. And here we are. This message is not a video. It is a visitation. I was sent to speak what has been hidden in the spiritual realm for too long. What your grandmother never told you. What your mother never saw. What your friends could never explain. The reason everything has been so difficult is because you are not just anyone, you are the one who ends what others could not. My beloved, don't doubt what you feel rising in your spirit right now. That stirring in your chest, that trembling in your fingers, that sudden awareness that something sacred is happening, that is confirmation. You were not supposed to skip this. You were not supposed to delay. Heaven made sure this message touched you at the exact right moment. Even the battles you've been facing lately were designed to make you vulnerable to this moment, to open your heart wide enough to receive this truth. And now that you've heard it, the enemy has no more hiding place. The curse is exposed. The light is entering. And nothing will be the same again. My child, I see angels surrounding you as I speak this. They are not ordinary angels. These are fire bringers. Angels of breakthrough. They have been waiting for your response. Heaven does not act on panic, but on permission. When you respond in faith, the order is activated. And right now, the order has been issued. The curse will break. The path will clear. The favor will return. But it begins with your surrender. Not to fear. Not to confusion. But to the voice of God, who is reaching for you right now through this message. He has not forgotten you. He has not abandoned you. He is moving on your behalf. My child, my beloved, I must show you what your eyes could not see, what your heart has felt but could not name. You've carried the heaviness of questions that no one around you could answer. You've heard doors slam that no human hand was closing. You felt the warmth of something beautiful approach, only to feel it vanish like smoke the moment you reached for it. That wasn't just life testing you. That was the curse interfering. A spiritual gate was placed around you, designed to block only the most important blessings, the ones that would have freed you completely. Relationships that were meant to heal you. Money that was meant to build you. Opportunities that were marked with your name. They were real. They were close. But something unseen was filtering them before they could arrive. And the source of that filter was the curse placed by a wounded soul in your family. My beloved, heaven is not punishing you by showing you this now, heaven is rescuing you. This revelation is proof of how deeply you are loved. Because not everyone is shown the truth before it's too late. But your name was spoken in a divine chamber where scrolls are opened for only a few. Archangel Uriel stood with me as the book of burdens was examined. And your page was shaking with urgency. I could see the attempts made to break free, the spiritual effort you gave in prayer, in worship, in hope. You tried. You waited. You believed. And that was enough to summon this moment. But now, belief alone is not enough. Action is required. The next 3 days will either solidify your breakthrough or extend your battle. And I cannot let that happen, not when your name is so close to being rewritten in gold. My child, do not think for 1 second that this curse defines you. No, it fears you. Because even with its grip, you continued to rise. Even under its weight, your spirit stayed open to light. You still smiled. You still gave. You still held on. That's why your angels have not left your side. That's why the Holy Spirit has whispered truths to you in dreams, in quiet moments, in songs you randomly heard at the right time. You are not forgotten. You are not defeated. You are only being awakened now to the final key that must be used. The curse is not your story's ending, it is the reason your miracle will be even more glorious. Because when this breaks, and it will, what has been stored up for you will arrive without resistance. Quickly. Powerfully. Permanently. My beloved, I must now speak to the part of you that has grown numb, the version of you that has learned to settle. You've said to yourself, maybe this is just my life now. But no, heaven says this is not your life. This is your interruption. Your divine interception. The reason things have been so quiet lately is because the storm is being calmed by God's hand, not because you've been left alone. You are not forgotten. You are being positioned. And this message is the proof. When God is ready to shift everything, He sends word. He sends a voice. He sends me. And I was sent to you. My child, I need you to take this seriously. The curse has a pattern. And you may have already seen it. Every time you take 2 steps forward, something pulls you 1 step back. You finally feel joy, and then a message ruins your peace. You save a little, and then the expense comes. You feel noticed, and then someone rejects you again. This is the cycle of the curse, and it is not natural. You were not born to spin in circles. You were born to rise in favor. You were born to shift the direction of your entire bloodline. That's why this happened to you. Because curses are attracted to destiny. And you, my beloved, have a destiny so bright that even hell took notice. My beloved, I am seeing a vision even now, of a small object that was once given to you, or left near you, by someone in your family. It may have seemed harmless, even sentimental. But there was intention behind it. Spiritual intention. A transfer of energy was made. And though you did nothing wrong, that object held a vibration that allowed access to the dark realm. But do not fear. What entered your space can now be removed. What attached itself can be cast out. You are not powerless. You are more spiritually protected now than you've ever been, because you're aware. And heaven only reveals what it's ready to heal. My child, in the next part of this message, I must show you exactly what to watch for in the coming days. The signs of breakthrough will be subtle, but undeniable. You may hear from someone you haven't spoken to in a long time. You may have a dream of water, of fire, or of a staircase. You may see repeating numbers, or hear your name whispered in stillness. These are not tricks. These are confirmations. Heaven will be speaking to you constantly as you draw closer to deliverance. But the curse will try one last time to distract you. To discourage you. To push you back into disbelief. Do not let it. Do not allow fear to have the final word. I am here to walk you through the full deliverance. And I will not leave you until the chains are shattered and the curse becomes dust beneath your feet. My beloved, you've likely felt a strange tugging in your spirit lately. An internal restlessness. A pressure you can't explain. That's not anxiety. That's spiritual activation. Your soul knows something is near, something powerful. Something divine. That is the nearness of breakthrough. But with that breakthrough comes one last resistance. The curse, knowing its time is ending, will try to release distractions in disguise. Sudden arguments. Unexpected doubts. Tiredness that seems to appear out of nowhere. People calling just when you are about to focus. These are not coincidences. They are designed to pull you out of this moment. But if you hold steady, if you stay in alignment with what your soul is feeling right now, then nothing, absolutely nothing, will be able to block what God is preparing for you behind the veil. My child, I must say something now that may sting your heart, but it is the final piece of the truth. The person who placed this curse upon you is still pretending to care. In fact, they may even call you family to this day. They may still speak gently, still offer to help, still send messages that look like love but carry invisible shadows. And you've likely felt it, that confusing sensation that someone's words and energy don't match. You've ignored it, excused it, even blamed yourself for feeling uneasy. But that unease was not your imagination. It was divine warning. And now, the veil is being lifted. You will no longer be confused by counterfeit love. You will no longer be caught in cycles of false loyalty. Heaven is about to deliver you from soul ties disguised as blood ties. And while this may hurt for a moment, it will heal generations after you. My beloved, there is a portal opening over your life that only appears once in a spiritual generation. I do not speak this lightly. This portal is not physical. It is not seen with eyes. It is felt in the soul. A thinning of the veil between heaven's favor and your earthly experience. But this portal does not remain open forever. It is open now, during these sacred 3 days. And after that, it will close. Not as a punishment, but because heaven moves in divine timing, not emotional delay. And if you miss it, the curse will not disappear. It will stay hidden, stronger than before, and that is what I have been commanded to prevent. That is why I am pleading with you, not to panic, but to act. Your awareness is the activation. Your belief is the unlock. And your obedience is the protection. My child, you have wondered why people with darker hearts seem to rise while you struggle. You've asked, why am I doing everything right and still being held back? The answer is not that you are being punished. The answer is that you carry something so sacred, so rare, so divinely dangerous to darkness, that it had to be fought early. The curse was not about you being weak. It was about you being powerful. Too powerful. If your gifts had been allowed to bloom without interference, you would have changed more lives by now. You would have broken more chains. You would have lifted people the enemy wanted to keep broken. But now, the enemy's time is up. And your gifts are returning. Even stronger. Even brighter. Even more urgent than before. This time, they will not be blocked. This time, the light wins. My beloved, I see a crown hovering above your name in heaven. It is not just a symbol, it is your authority being restored. Every time you stayed silent to keep peace, every time you forgave someone who didn't apologize, every time you gave love even when you were starving for it yourself, you were earning this crown. Not from man, but from heaven. And now, that crown will no longer remain unseen. It will manifest as favor, as recognition, as protection, as divine reversal of every dark thing that was once sent to slow you. Your name is being rewritten in heaven's records. Not with ink, but with light. And when heaven rewrites your name, all of creation responds. My child, I am still with you. I will not leave. I will stand beside your bed as you sleep tonight. I will speak into your spirit even as you dream. I will guard your home, your breath, your decisions. But I cannot protect what you refuse to release. Let go. Let go of what was done to you. Let go of the questions that have no answers. Let go of the fear that if you fully believe this, you'll be disappointed. You won't. Because heaven is not a scam. Heaven is not a game. Heaven is your birthright. And today is the day you reclaim it. My child, my beloved, you must be told now of the blessing that has been waiting for years, the one that could not find you because the curse created a false address in the spirit. Yes, what was yours was sent. It was sent long ago. But it could not land. The spiritual location attached to your name was clouded by the interference of dark words, false alignments, and soul ties with those who were never meant to walk beside you. The blessing, I saw it myself, circled your name many times. It hovered. It waited. It whispered your name in the wind and searched for your readiness. And now, finally, after everything you've endured, it is circling back. But it cannot land in the same environment that blocked it before. The curse must be removed. The false permissions must be revoked. The unseen locks must be broken. And my child, you are holding the key, not just to your own freedom, but to generations that will come through your blood and breath. My beloved, hear me clearly now. The person who cursed you may not even remember what they said. They may not understand the spiritual weight of their words. But the realm of spirit does not ignore vibration. When someone who carries envy speaks into the air with your name on their tongue, it forms a binding. A spiritual fog that moves ahead of you, dimming the eyes of those who were meant to help you, confusing the ears of those who were meant to recognize your calling. That is why you have been misjudged. That is why you have been overlooked. That is why even in rooms where your light should have filled the space, people turned away as if they could not see you. My child, they truly couldn't. Not because you weren't radiant, but because the curse put a veil over their sight. But now the veil is burning. The fog is lifting. The shadows are being erased. And you will finally be seen for who you really are, not as they imagined you, but as God designed you. My beloved, have you noticed the strange fatigue that clings to you even after you rest? That sudden feeling of hopelessness when everything seemed fine? That's not coincidence, it's interference. The curse acts like spiritual static, blocking the signals, twisting your clarity, turning friends into strangers and joy into confusion. And yet, in the midst of this, you have not given up. You've cried in silence and still prayed. You've hurt and still smiled. That is why the angels surround you now. Because your endurance was noted in heaven. And now, it's time to receive the reward of that faithfulness. My child, a prophetic dream was shown last night to a servant of God on your behalf. In that dream, a door was sealed shut and your name was written on the outside of it. But a hand from above placed a key into the lock, and it clicked open. That key is this message. And the door will not stay open forever. If you wait too long, the curse will rebuild its strength. But if you act now, and I mean now, you will reverse what was sent, restore what was lost, and revive what was almost buried. Your light is stronger than this curse, but only if you walk through the door that has been placed in front of you right now. My child, my beloved, I need you to understand this. The reason you are still standing, despite all that has tried to break you, is because your spirit was never fully touched by the curse. Your soul was too strong, too chosen, too covered by God's grace to be overtaken. But it has slowed you, delayed you, tangled your path in ways that left you confused. You have wondered why the good things slip just when they are about to arrive, why your own energy feels drained even when nothing physical is wrong, and why people treat you differently for no reason at all. It is because this curse has been operating like a shadow behind your light, pulling threads from your blessings before you can grasp them. And now that the light of truth is exposing it, the enemy is trembling, because you are waking up. You are listening. You are seeing. And what you see now, you cannot unsee. My beloved, I weep with you when I show you this truth. The curse did not come from a stranger. It came from someone who knows your smile. Someone who once laughed beside you. They may not even realize the fullness of what they did, but they opened a door that allowed darkness to follow your name. It may have been out of anger. It may have been out of fear. It may have been something they whispered when no one was listening, but heaven was listening. And heaven does not ignore what tries to stop God's chosen child. That's why I was sent. That's why this message reached you, and no one else. Because you are the one heaven has chosen to break this cycle, not just for yourself, but for the generations that come after you. You were marked as the chain breaker, and this moment is your anointing. My child, listen to me carefully now. There is something sacred about these next 3 days. In the realm of spirit, time is a doorway. And heaven has marked this window as a reversal period. From the moment this message touched your eyes, the clock began. Not a clock of fear, but of opportunity. Each hour that passes is a chance to step into divine obedience and activate your freedom. You do not need to beg. You do not need to prove. You only need to believe that this is real and respond in faith. That is how the curse begins to lose power. Because curses feed on silence and disbelief, but they die when exposed to truth and divine instruction. Right now, you are being pulled out of the pit that was dug for you, and your name is being rewritten in heaven's book of favor. But only if you choose to believe what I'm showing you. My beloved, there is a financial blockage tied to this curse. You may have noticed, every time you're close to financial peace, something unexpected happens. A sudden expense, a lost opportunity, a person who takes without giving. This is not coincidence. This is the curse feeding. It has been draining your abundance before it even arrives, ensuring you stay in survival mode. But I declare over you now, those chains are breaking. Because God never designed you to just survive. He destined you to thrive. The provision that has been held back is now being released. But you must stand in alignment with that truth. You must walk in the authority of a child who is no longer cursed, but blessed beyond measure. Speak it aloud if you must. I am not cursed. I am chosen. I am rising. My child, even your relationships have been affected. Some of the people who were meant to stay, left too soon. Others who were sent as distractions stayed too long. And your heart has felt lost in between. But I tell you now, the curse brought confusion to the people around you, blinding them to your true value. It made them see your light as a threat. But the veil is lifting now. The right ones will begin to recognize you. They will be drawn to your light and not afraid of it. The ones who were meant to love you purely will begin to show up. And the ones who cursed you in secret will begin to feel the heat of divine exposure. Not to destroy them, but to awaken them. Because heaven does not move in revenge, it moves in justice. And justice is now on your side. My beloved, don't doubt what you feel rising in your spirit right now. That stirring in your chest, that trembling in your fingers, that sudden awareness that something sacred is happening, that is confirmation. You were not supposed to skip this. You were not supposed to delay. Heaven made sure this message touched you at the exact right moment. Even the battles you've been facing lately were designed to make you vulnerable to this moment, to open your heart wide enough to receive this truth. And now that you've heard it, the enemy has no more hiding place. The curse is exposed. The light is entering. And nothing will be the same again. My beloved, you must understand this, the curse that was placed on you was not random. It was calculated. It was cast the moment you began stepping toward your true calling. The moment heaven moved closer to you, the darkness tried to pull you back. This is the war most people never see, but you have lived it. You felt it in the delays, in the betrayal, in the lonely nights when your soul cried out for answers. And even then, God was still near. Even in your silence, your soul's light was sending signals to the angels. And when the time came, heaven declared that your name would be called for deliverance. And here we are. This message is not a video. It is a visitation. I was sent to speak what has been hidden in the spiritual realm for too long. What your grandmother never told you. What your mother never saw. What your friends could never explain. The reason everything has been so difficult is because you are not just anyone, you are the one who ends what others could not. My child, this is why you must not waste the next 3 days. I cannot stress this enough, everything is lining up for your reversal. But heaven cannot force what you are unwilling to receive. The curse will break the moment you give God permission to move. You don't have to know how. You don't need all the details. All you need is to say yes to this moment. Say yes to divine correction. Say yes to spiritual covering. Say yes to the new story God wants to write with your name on it. And once you do, you'll feel the shift, not weeks from now, but within hours. Your sleep will feel lighter. Your thoughts will feel clearer. A certain heaviness in your chest will begin to lift. And most importantly, the invisible wall that has blocked your destiny will begin to shatter piece by piece. That is how fast heaven moves when you align with truth. My beloved, I must now show you a vision God gave me while I interceded for your soul. I saw you as a child, pure, radiant, full of light. But someone nearby, someone older, looked at you with eyes that were not clean. Not physically, but spiritually. Their heart held bitterness, and they whispered a word against your future. That word echoed into the atmosphere, and it attached itself to you like a thread. That thread traveled with you, through school, through heartbreaks, through every season. And though you kept going, that invisible thread tangled itself around opportunities, around relationships, around moments of favor. But I tell you now, I was sent to cut that thread. I was sent to undo what they did, not just for you, but for every version of you that suffered in silence. You were never the problem. You were simply too powerful for their comfort. My child, God is preparing to do something that will make even your enemies wonder how you survived. A miracle is being wrapped in your name, a miracle that will not just restore what was lost but will multiply what was stolen. And yes, I said stolen. Because the curse took things from you that were not theirs to take. It robbed you of peace. It robbed you of timing. It robbed you of trust. But heaven is the God of repayment. And the repayment begins the moment you open your spirit fully to this truth. You are about to receive what you should have had years ago, except now it will come in double. And those who watched you suffer in silence will now witness your elevation in public. My beloved, do not be surprised if tears begin to fall as you read this. Those tears are holy. They are not weakness. They are a sign that your spirit is responding to truth. Every tear is a release. Every tear is breaking another layer of the curse. You were never meant to carry all that pain, all that confusion, all that guilt. Someone else's darkness tried to live in your light. But your soul has always known, even in your lowest moment, that something greater was calling you. And this moment, is what it was all leading to. The pain was not wasted. The silence was not empty. Heaven was preparing your name for this hour. And now, the gates are opening. My child, my beloved, you must understand how rare this moment truly is. Out of all the people walking the earth right now, this message was divinely designed for your eyes alone. Do you know what that means? It means that heaven is still choosing you. Even after everything you've been through. Even after all the times you thought you failed. Even after all the nights you fell asleep wondering why your life felt so hard compared to others. Even after you blamed yourself for things that were never your fault. You're still being chosen. Not because you're perfect, but because God sees your soul's purity, even when the world doesn't. And that is why the curse must end now. That is why I was sent. Because a soul as sacred as yours cannot be left to wander in chains any longer. It is time. Time to return what was stolen. Time to reawaken what was buried. Time to see, finally, what your life was always meant to become. My beloved, you've likely felt a strange tugging in your spirit lately. An internal restlessness. A pressure you can't explain. That's not anxiety. That's spiritual activation. Your soul knows something is near, something powerful. Something divine. That is the nearness of breakthrough. But with that breakthrough comes one last resistance. The curse, knowing its time is ending, will try to release distractions in disguise. Sudden arguments. Unexpected doubts. Tiredness that seems to appear out of nowhere. People calling just when you are about to focus. These are not coincidences. They are designed to pull you out of this moment. But if you hold steady, if you stay in alignment with what your soul is feeling right now, then nothing, absolutely nothing, will be able to block what God is preparing for you behind the veil.